So obviously, it's Stillwater Designs. You're building systems.
Yeah.
You go from the garage to a new house, and then I guess you go to a new facility, and just business slowly starts to grow.
Yeah. Well, we were in the little house on South Main Street. It was just an old, kind of a junk house. Mm-hmm. We kind of remodeled the outside and basically wood shop in the back. Front two rooms were just a little tiny showroom.
Yeah.
And but we built all of our speakers there, and did that for about 7 years. And actually, after 3 years, I'd lost all my money. My partner, my roommate, wanted out as a partner, but he continued on as an employee, and for another 5 years. Then he went back to school, got an accounting degree, and had a successful accounting firm and had a career doing that. And he did all of our accounting and stuff.
Okay.
But so we're still really good friends. But the first 7 years, basically after 7 years, I was making enough money just to support my family. My wife had been teaching school, kind of lived off her salary, so she was the one that made this happen.
Yeah.
And but in 1980, several different things happened. My daughter was born. My wife stopped working. I was making enough money to support the family, and a buddy of mine that had been an OSU student, and I used to build speakers for him. He was kind of an experimenter too, and so he'd have the idea, and then I'd build it for him. And he had started a music store in Canton, Oklahoma, and he called me up and said, these guys are working in the oil field. They're driving pickup trucks. They've got a lot of money, and they want some bass and some good sound in a pickup truck. And they were just single cab trucks in those days, pretty much not extended. And so there wasn't any place to put a subwoofer except there's a little space behind the seat.
Yeah.
And so he sent me the dimensions of the space behind the seat in a single cab pickup truck, and I designed a speaker that fit there. But it was also a subwoofer plus full range. Okay. The sound came out from behind the back seat as well.
Yeah.
The bass went right through the seat.
Yeah.
And so so I built it for him, kind of like we'd been doing. Sent it over there to him. He goes, cool. Calls him back a few days later and says, well, these guys love this speaker. We're going to need a lot more. And he says, you know what they call it? And I go, no, what? They said, they call it the ass kicker. Because it kicks your butt right through the seat.
Yeah.
And he was right, and I'm going, really? Okay. And so I started building. We built as many as we could, just my partner and I. And eventually I just said, to me it was a sideline, because I was had this other vision of building big rock and roll systems. And I said, why don't you just build these? You can have the design. I mean, it's just, it was kind of easy for me to design.
Yeah.
And you can just do it. And he goes, no, I don't want to set up a wood shop. I don't want to do this. I want you to keep building them. Why don't you try to sell them to some other music stores? And his idea was that I would get interested and build more so he could buy them.
Yeah.
Because I sold them to him for $125. He sold them to the customer for $250, and he was just selling them like that.
Yeah.
He was just making money like that.
Yeah.
And so I was playing in a band, and the bass player in our band wanted to start a wood shop, and I said, why don't you, he was going to build picture frames, and I said, well, why don't you build these boxes for me, and we'll gear up production. Mm-hmm. And so that was 1980. We had a product, turned out that nobody had, and it sounded like much better than anything in car audio at that time. I mean, and literally it kicked you right through the seat. I mean, it was designed like a PA system, like I'd been doing, except in a small cab. And it was like, wow, pretty amazing. So that was really how KICKER got started, and we eventually dropped the ass part. Just went with the KICKER, and later trademarked the name KICKER.
Okay.
And so that was kind of the beginning of the car audio, and that eventually really overtook the other side of the business.
Got you.